last question, then you're gone and you don't come back. All right, so we are recording now. See if I can pop up my video. There we go. So, hello and good morning. My name is Nellie Robinson Bruner. I'm with the YWCA, where we're focusing on eliminating racism and empowering women. So today we have the wonderful Miss Tanya James. She is with us from a number of things. I mean, like her resume was so impressive, and speaking with her like blew me away of the possibilities of what's happening in fashion. And I thought I knew some things about fashion, but when it came to speaking with her, I was like, man, I have a real uphill battle I need to go up to. Um, and so this is also going out live on our Facebook page, as well as we'll have a recap sent out to everyone. So we're so excited, and I don't want to take up time from this wonderful lady who's graciously sort of spending it with us this Saturday morning. Miss James, if you want to go ahead and take the stage, I'm so happy to have you here with us and excited to hear what you're going to share.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Natalie, so much for inviting me to participate in your event. It's really an honor. I'm looking forward to sharing what I know about technology and fashion integration, and hopefully, I can inspire some of your incredible students to look forward to a career in technology in any form, not necessarily just fashion, but in the many technologies that we have available today in our society. I created a small PowerPoint presentation for you guys just to take you through some of the technologies and also to share some of the things that I am doing in the fashion tech world. As Natalie said, my name is Tanya James, and I have an MBA in Information System Management and E-commerce. Originally, I started my career as a fashion buyer, editor, stylist in film and television in the mainstream fashion world. And after many, many years, decided that I needed a change because I felt that in my industry, all we did was wear fabulous clothes and had nasty attitudes, but we were not contributing anything of real importance to the society. So that's when I began going to school. Actually, I got my bachelor's degree like in my 40s and then my MBA in my 50s. So I didn't jump right into education when I got out of high school. I started in FIT and then I got my first job in the fashion industry from the student services office in like the first month in FIT. So I started working immediately in the fashion industry as an assistant dress buyer. So I had real world experience. So I never graduated from the Fashion Institute because I didn't need to, because I had already achieved what I actually wanted. But I continued to take classes there throughout the years. And even today, I may take a class or two there if they have something that I'm interested in learning, because I believe life is a lifelong learning process, and you should always want to learn continuously. There's no such thing as an age on education. You must continue to grow by learning things in the world. So after I decided I wanted to get out of the mainstream fashion world, and then went to school and spent all these years in college going to grad school and undergrad, and I really enjoyed it. And at that point, it was like I was going to parties every day because I am a true networker. And I met so many amazing people during my educational journey that are still my good friends today. And we're all doing various things in our careers. So it's good to have a large network of friends and people in your life. So, they might not all be good friends, but they are good networking connections that may be able to assist you in something that you would like to do down the road. You never know. So once I did all that, um, I was watching a television program with Al Roker. And for those who live in the Northeast, they know who he is. He's a newscaster. So during his broadcast, he had a woman named Barbara Smith. Everybody calls her B. Smith on his show. And B. Smith was this amazing entrepreneur that had restaurants and all kinds of brands. She was kind of the Black Martha Stewart. And B. Smith was on his program, her and her husband, because she was sharing that she had developed Alzheimer's, and she had also gone missing. So that's the reason she was really on the show, that she had gone missing, and she was letting America know that now she has been stricken with this horrible disease of Alzheimer's, early Alzheimer's, and she had gone missing. And because of I was someone who worked in fashion, and we all used to frequent her restaurant, which was in the garment center. Everybody knew B. Smith. So it was a shock to hear that this amazing young woman, she wasn't really old at that point, she was 60. And I must tell you, that was just 5 years ago, and she recently died in 2020. So it was just heartbreaking to watch how she diminished and how the disease had just destroyed her completely. So, but when I saw that newscast, I got motivated the next day to start creating fashion with technology integrated into fashion. I kept seeing these news broadcasts. It was this other young kid. Had autism, and he had gone missing. He wasn't very lucky. He didn't get found. He was found dead. So it was like, why don't we have anything to locate people for the caregiver to see on their phone in an app that this is where the person is, or the person has gone outside of the range of the home, whatever the case may be. It inspired me to go on a mission to find technologies, because at that point I didn't really know what technology I was interested in using, because I didn't really know the technologies that were all available. So I was advised to go on my little research mission, and I traveled to conferences all around the world, and I met many, many people that had either the hardware that were creating with certain technologies. So in doing all of that, I was able to learn about many, many technologies, even technologies that I wasn't interested in using at that particular time. So fast forward, for the last 5 years, I have, every time I find something I want to work with, there's always these what if questions that you're addressed with. And you have to, before you start putting out a product on the market, you must address the what if questions. What if the battery dies? What if the GPS device is not accurate in the location? What happens if you wash it? What happens if you take it to the cleaners? What happens is it becomes a what happens, what happens. And so finally, um, we have caught up a little bit with technologies to address what I'm interested in doing. I have picked up several items, and some of the I selected to use GPS technologies for what I would like to create in fashion. And in doing that, it became another situation of the size of the actual technology. Is it too big? Is it too thick? Where would you put it? How do you integrate it into the garment? Um, how will it be charged? Because the battery life of all of these things became an issue. The battery life of any technology will come out to be your biggest problem because that hasn't actually caught up with us. We're like a few years away from that. However, there are things out in the world that have the GPS technology in it. In Japan, I found the like a pad that goes into the shoe, and that is GPS enabled. However, that has to be charged also. So there's not a lot of products out there designed for people with these disabilities to locate them, but there are several universities that are working in that area to create things for people with the disabilities. I personally believe that going forward, we will live in a connected society. Everything that we own will be connected to some sort of technology. Just like my Apple Watch is connected to my iPhone and my iPad and my desktop Mac, your clothing will also be connected. People are right now researching ways of providing users with things they may want their apparel to do for them. It could be it could be a brainstorming session on this topic. I mean, you could say, "Oh, I want my sweatshirt to have the lights and the television on by the time I get through the door," and you could just tap on the logo on your sweatshirt, and when you get there, that's happening. Just like our houses, our homes are becoming smart, it's going to be the same way for apparel. Right now, specifically, I would say the health tech wear market is more focusing in that area, and the mainstream fashion industry is not focusing on any of these things at this point. So let me move on a little bit with my presentation so I can show you. These are some of the brands that have come forth out of my mission in the last 5 years. Um, the Global Fashion Technology Federation, which I just found out my somebody hacked my website. That was created to be an organization for the mainstream fashion world so that they could come to meetups and events that would share with them the various technologies that are in the marketplace and that they could use in their business strategies going forward. And Fashion Tech Week New York, Internet of Fashion, is our annual event that we have every year, which was normally a week-long event in New York City that had keynote speakers, designers, experts, exhibits, a runway show, and it was at different venues here in Manhattan. Since 2020 and the pandemic, The event is virtual, has been virtual. So 2021, the event will be virtual once again in October. And as I said, that's where we bring together all the different technologies and creators from around the world to share with you guys what's going on in technology, not just fashion tech, in technology. And the Internet of Fashion is our a brand that we had named as our meetups. We had monthly meetups, and at the monthly meetup, I would invite different technologists would come in and share with the group um, what they were doing, whether they were working in 3D print technology, smart textiles, augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and so on. So every month it would be a different technology that we had at our meetup. And the meetups normally would be 2 hour meetups. We didn't do any in 2020 because of the pandemic. So right now, everything is being re-strategized for the virtual world because that's where we find ourselves. And that is not all bad. I find that anything you can do for a live event, you can make equally as exciting in the virtual space. So I'm looking forward to our 2021 Fashion Tech Week New York, which will be in October. And we right now are working on the various elements that we're going to have in the event, and we're going to make it very exciting. So as we go along, we learn more and more how to make the virtual conference as much fun as a real live event. And down to the Wearable Institute of Fashion and Accessory Design. That was created to be like a program, which we haven't done anything in terms of the Wearable Institute yet. We wanted to make it like kind of a learning program where anyone interested in learning how to create different types of wearables and fashion and accessories, they would come to some of our workshops and events to learn how to do those things. You see, I've had my hands full, but everything in all the brands integrate with each other. So I must say that everything grew out of the Global Fashion Technology Federation, in which I found much resistance from the mainstream fashion industry, and actually I still do. The last one on the agenda is the tech healthware, in which I am interested in making that our e-commerce site for anything that's fashionable, techie, and a locator helper for those with those disabilities that I mentioned previously. So I move along, each element of creating these items or situations have to have their own particular brand. It's not a one size fit all. That's what I'm finding. If every one thing can't be under one category, you can't have everything under the category. So I created different brand names for my ideas. So about our brand, the Global Fashion Technology Federation is a nonprofit membership platform. And as I said, we focus on sharing training, technology, and designing education for the mainstream fashion brands. So we are in accessories, fashion, and footwear, and now health tech fashion. Some of the technologies, as I mentioned, are artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality, NFC, retail iBeacons, RFIDC, robotics, and 3D printed and wearable technologies. Those are like the main technologies that people are using, and they are expanding every day. Every day is something new that grows out of those technologies. And at this time, or at least between 2019 and 2020, 75% of the fashion retailers planned to invest in artificial intelligence. So these are some of the items that were created with a 3D print technology. And at the top, where you see all these guys with their computers, they are designing and coding and programming some of the wearables that they're creating. When it comes to the artificial intelligence space, that is going to be a huge technology for the future of fashion and the future of retail. So you guys should really pay attention to that area of technology because it's growing massively. It's surpassing 3D print technology. 3D print technology is good right now for uh, doing prototypes, but the printers haven't advanced to the degree where they can print out a certain type of fabric. They are printing out designers are actually using regular fabric and then they're printing out pieces of 3D printed material objects or design, and they're integrating it into their design. So at this point, prototyping is more of what everyone's doing with uh, 3D printers. It's not that technology, and most of these technologies are not mass production types of technologies. They're more like custom types of technologies. It takes a longer time. You can't produce these items in like an hour. It might even take a week to do one thing. Whereas in the mainstream industry, you can do thousands of pieces in a short period of time. So it's very, very different when you're creating fashion with technology. It's not an instant overnight garment. This is another example of artificial intelligence where in retail it's very popular. The big stores have these types of technologies in their stores right now. Some of the more fluid stores will have this, so you can stand in front of the mirror in one dress, and then you can select colors. You can select whatever color you want, and you can see yourself in that garment. And you don't have to go, try on a whole bunch of things at all. The one garment was you can say, oh, I like myself in red or green. And then also in this space, it suggests similar products for you since it kind of knows your habits and your buying habits. Some people say that's an invasion of their privacy, but that's how they are. That's why they're able to send you products and say, oh, well, since you bought that, you might like this because it's actually the data is showing is kind of predictive analytics. That's what we call it, predictive, because now we can predict what a person is going to like based on what they've previously purchased. So that's kind of eerie, but that is how this is going. Um, then they can give you options of what you may like. You may not even know you like it until you see it. So, it's a lot of also data analysis involved in this. So when I say technology, technology is the age that we live in. We don't live in the industrial age. In the age of technology, we can follow the data, the science. We could mine those things, and it could give us the trends, and save us money and save us time. So data is going to be a very important part of your education in technology and in the design space. So look forward to your deep learning and on-demand forecasting, and robotics will be your friend. Some people have robotics as a companion. That's the world we live in. I know you used to watch that on Star Trek, but you wonder now, will artificial intelligence take your job? And I would say no. Artificial intelligence would aid in your job and would help you do a better job. So don't be afraid of the technology, because technology and the computer will all make you shine and look better in your job. So this is where they entered a set of data, different pictures, different textiles. So they entered the textiles, they entered the style, they entered the button, they entered the zipper, and then they output a garment. So they're mapping garments also onto people. So they took this sweater and they mapped it onto these ladies. So you can see them in the various colors, shapes, and designs. And that's they're calling this a flat garment, because now everything is being designed um, with a 3D element. So with the 3D element, the you can see the full 360 degrees of whatever you're doing. And when it comes to modeling and machine learning, they are actually modeling everything from us as humans, how we react, how our bodies act. So this is very scientific, this graphic here, but in school, they would teach you how a sample of our body relates to how we model something for technology and fashion. When I said 3D modeling, is kind of giving you the 360 degrees of a body, a model, a human, a garment without a body or a model in it. And then, of course, it shows the different parts to how a product is put together, how it's cut, and then at the end, it sort of looks like what you're seeing here on the side. Now, this is one example of a 3D printer company. This is a 3D printer. They're called Dremel. They make very nice, affordable 3D printers, and they have various sizes. So the the flat bed can print out larger pieces. Most of the 3D printers are not really, their beds are not really large. So you have to print everything out in these sections, and the sections are not you have to put them together. Here are some garments that were created with the 3D printer and fabric and the 3D doodler pen. The woman in the black, that's a lingerie piece, and that was created with a 3D doodler pen. The gentleman that's fixing the designer, he is fixing the black part of the white dress with also a 3D doodler pen in which he integrated into the design of this dress, which is created with a silk fabric where the white area is. So he just accented the dress with 3D technology. And down the bottom, this entire garment, the jacket and this dress is created, sorry, with a 3D printer. And it took like 600 hours to do that one garment. So that's why I said that nothing is created fast in a day or overnight. It might take a few weeks to create one thing. So working with technology is not a fast process. This is another designer that created a dress with like pens. Pens, not when I say technology, it doesn't have to be a 3D printer or artificial intelligence. It could be whatever technology the designer comes up with. In this case, this dress is linen with some unusual, these are not hard pens, they're like soft, like a brush that she designed with. She's an architect, so she used that talent. This is a smart textile where conductive threads are the threads that you see going through the the white fabric, and this is what's considered to be a smart textile. They connected this to some lights. So where you see this part, it lights up in the textiles. This is a beautiful 3D printed dress. The entire dress is 3D printed, and the filament that they use, they call the component that you use with 3D printers filament. This filament is very flexible and stretchy. They have several types of filament, but there are each day unique filaments come out that go through the 3D printer, which makes it very nice that you can create a garment that's not stiff and hard and a person can't wear. In this case, a person can wear this dress. This dress, it was very, very expensive. It was created like 3 years ago, and it's a $1,800 dress. You might not think this is a technology, but they used a particular type of paint, fluorescent paint on knit. This is a knit t-shirt that's like iridescent when a person is in a dark room. You don't have to shine a black light on it to see the person. But if the person walks into a room or a party and it's dark, this is what will happen to the shirt. If the person was in light, then you would see the shirt as black and it looked like silver on the shirt. But in essence, it's a fluorescent uh, paint that was painted onto this garment. This is what some 3D printed footwear looks like. A lot of these guys that create these shoes, most of these shoes are in exhibits in museums because basically most people cannot walk in these shoes. I mean, they're beautiful for exhibit purposes, but for you to actually walk around in them is kind of difficult. However, they are making a lot of sneakers right now with 3D print technology. And yes, anybody and everybody can wear them. These are other footwears that were created with hydraulics. So when I say technology, technology is whatever you decide you want to use to create something unique. And this particular designer from Barcelona decided to create her shoes with hydraulic heels. This is a designer on this side from the Netherlands that decided to create her shoes with all kind of like floral designs and feather designs. So, and this is another designer from the Netherlands, and you can find these items in the virtual shoe museum that use leather and 3D print in his designs. But most of these are for exhibit purposes, and there are a lot of designers just designing things to be in the museums. Like if you come to New York to the Met Museum, every year we have an incredible fashion exhibit. And the designers are from all over the world, and their designs are created with all kind of unique technologies. Now we get into the area of robotics. In one of our Fashion Tech Week New York events, we had this incredible um, mannequin. This is a robotic mannequin. The robotic mannequin move her legs, her arms, and her head, and everybody was fascinated just to see her. She's 8 feet tall, and it's like a human person. So it was very unique to have not a mannequin just standing there looking at you and nothing happens. You're just looking at the garment. But this mannequin had the garment on display, and no one was looking at the garment. They were looking at the mannequin because she moves her arms, she moves her legs, she moves her head. These are other concepts of mannequins. The yellow ones over here are the mannequins company from the previous slide. I met them in Japan. They were at the exhibit, and these mannequins also move as well. This is a mannequin that you can have at a trade show. And I think at this time I was in Las Vegas at the CES, where they had this mannequin that's more like a customer service mannequin that can tell you where you need to go, what you're looking for. It interacts with you. And down the bottom, this is a robotic for manufacturing that can help in the manufacturing process. So technology is so incredibly fascinating, everybody. Um, I encourage you to jump into that area for your professional life because it will be exciting and it will be financially rewarding for you. And that is the future of our workforce. So stay on the cutting edge, work with purpose and with pride, and you will be a great success in the world of technology. That's the future job for you. So don't go into being a social worker. Go into being a technologist, and you will be a very happy, happy person. I hope you enjoyed what I shared with you. And at the end, I put up the slide that has my information. And anytime you would like to contact me and ask questions or send me emails, I have no problem sharing with you um, that type of information. I'm an open door. I love sharing with others, and I love listening to and finding out what you're doing. And I wish you all the success in the world. You could do anything you want. Just make sure you do it with pride and you do it with purpose. And I hope you enjoyed my talk.
Thank you, Miss James. I always like am blown away every time we talk because there's just so much out there that I like had no clue about. And if anyone has any questions, you can throw it in the chat. But I had a couple. So when it comes to the brass tacks of it, um, first I'll start off with I guess work life balance. So what do you see as the capability of having a family, outside things when it comes to being in this field?
Well, I have a son and grandkids and a dog. So they are all integrated into my world. Before I got together with you guys this morning at 7 o'clock, I was outside with my dog in the dog park with his friends. He kept me out there at 8:30. so, so I had to get him out of the park. I tell him, Mommy got to go get ready because she has a webinar today. So we have to leave. So even in my life as a fashion buyer and editor and stylist and all that, I included my son because I would take him to the shoots and my bosses would be like, "Oh, your son is so cute. Can we use him in that shoot?" And next thing you know, he was in the children's agency that we used, and 3 days a week I had his father running around with him on his shoots because I was at work somewhere else. And he became a very busy little child actor model. Now I'm trying to encourage my grandson. He's not the model type, but he's the techie type. So he likes to be on these games all day, and grandma's encouraging him to be the one who makes the game. Don't just play the game, learn how to do the coding. And that's how I try to inspire them and include them into what I'm doing. Because when I'm working, it's not like work to me, it's like fun to me. So, you know, maybe sometime they feel that all you want to do is your projects, but I feel like I have my life too. It's not just your life. As long as I'm giving you what you need. Are you eating? You have your food, and you do your own laundry because I only do mine, and and the house laundry. So those type of things. It's like this is a team effort. Everybody should have an aspiration. Nobody should have to shortchange their desires for the other person in their life because you only have one life to live. And if you do that, nobody's going to care about your life. So at the end of the day, you're going to be the one with the regrets. Like, oh, I regret I didn't do this and that because of you. No, you didn't do this or that because of you, because you allowed somebody else's wishes to dictate what you wanted to do. So I think everybody has their time and place, and everybody get a little share of everybody's time and place, but nobody should have to give up their dream. Period. That's just my motto. Nobody has to give up their dream in life.
That's some great advice. I take that personally. I'm gonna use that.
That's why you have to pay the cost to be the boss.
Uh,
Because if you don't, then people are like, oh, well, you need to be doing what I want you to do. And no, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, uh, my mother don't tell me what to do anymore. My father to tell me what to do. It's like they're the only two that were allowed to do that up until a point, and then that's over. So, I always try to encourage my son and my grandchildren to be ambitious, and sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't. And then they'll come back and like, oh, you won't believe what happened. And I'm like, yeah, I'll believe what happened, but don't come back crying to me because I told you to try it like this, do this. And I'm your living example because I already did it. So I'm trying to give you a leg up so you can avoid some pitfalls and you can be your own entrepreneur. I always encourage entrepreneurship.
Yes, I
I
agree.
mean, I'm not a big one to uh, a job person. I mean, we all have to pay bills, but if I could do it and hustle by myself, I'd rather do that. Because
Yeah.
if I don't feel like getting up today, I lay on the couch all day. If I feel like working till 3 in the morning, I'll work till 3 in the morning and get what I need done. So I don't know. I just find that, especially now, corporate America didn't care about you then. Now they really don't care about you. Now you're totally used, and abused. And then once they're done, they just toss you out. And then you're like, oh, but I was working so hard and I did such a good job. And those, they don't care. It's not about that.
Taking your life into your own hands, which is why we have a lot of entrepreneurship classes for women as well as teens. So encourage kids to definitely sign up for those two. So let's talk about the money. How much money is in this field and can be made? Like if someone were to get into this field, what could they possibly sort of make money from doing this besides just the selling aspect of it?
Well, in the computer science space, you could totally make six figures in the computer science space, especially and in the data analytics area of it.
Hmm.
The data analytics area of it is very big. And I know women right now who make six figures and they travel around the world and they have a really good job. So there are many good jobs in the computer tech areas. So people who do coding, and I'm not just talking about people who do like websites, not that person. I'm talking about the people who know how to utilize the business aspects of technology to help make strategic decisions in a company. They make good money,
Hmm.
but they have such demands. When you make good money, you might as well be in prison because the demands on you are great because you're making big bucks. So the more you make, the more demand. So if you're making $500,000, you better believe you're doing $500,000 worth of work and responsibilities. And it may not be you doing every little detail, but you have a team of people beneath you that has to get it done. If they don't get it done, it all falls on you because you're the leader. That's why you get $500,000 because you're the leader. So you're supposed to pick a team that make you shine. So yes, as a team player, you make good money, but you're responsible to your boss. And as a VP, you make good money, but you're responsible to the CEO. So when I have people doing work on my project, they're responsible to me. I don't want to hear the excuse about this didn't happen or that didn't happen because now I'm responsible to all these other people involved in this overall event. And you didn't do the part you were supposed to do. So it's like high stress, like anything else. I mean, you could have high stress working at McDonald's. It just depends on the person and the type of stress level that you could take because everything is stress. Because you're going to be like, oh, this got to happen, that got to happen. All the pieces got to fall together. So you could definitely make money, even marketing. I often look at marketing jobs and I look at the senior VP jobs and, you know, director of marketing. And when I read the job descriptions, I'm like, please, hell no, too much. It's like, because they are asking for blood. It's like, oh, you get a headache just reading the job description. It's so much and it's so intense. So, yeah, everything is relevant. You can make money at a lot of things, but in the technological field, there's going to be a lot of money to be made because right now we're retraining the workforce.
Yeah.
The whole workforce has to be retrained in the United States. And people are resisting that training, which is a shame because they can no longer go work in the factory.
Hmm.
That's not going to happen. You have to be retrained. And if you are lucky enough to get that training for free
Yeah.
for a company, go for it. Just like the energy sector, the wind turbines. That's a technology. There are going to be a lot of jobs in that space. If we ever get a transportation bill, building the new transportation systems all over the United States, huge jobs with good money. But everybody doesn't have to have a PhD or college education, but they have to have skills. So the
Yeah.
training, hopefully in the next 4 years, we're going to have a lot of great training programs so that people could start. The Americans need to get their head in the game in terms of wanting to be retrained because they're kind of afraid of that. Oh, I can't, I have to go to school. Well, everything is not like doing math in the book and stuff like that. It could be hand-on training. You could be trained on how to make a 3D printer or any or robotic. All these jobs are going to be here, and our big problem is we don't have the workforce to do. We have a lot of jobs now, but we don't have the workforce to do those jobs, especially in the technological field, because Americans are lazy. We're lazy. Some of us are very lazy, and if we don't, we're not going to be like the innovators if we can't convince our people to understand that in order for you to make 20, 30, 50, $60 an hour, you have to take this class so you can learn how to do this job.
Hmm.
Once you get your certification, great. Now you're making that great money. Isn't that better than making $7 an hour or $10 an hour? Even when they say the minimum wage is going to be $15 an hour, I laugh
Hmm.
because I'm like, that's really no money. $15 an hour. And then they take tax out and you still have $200 a week. It's like, how do people pay bills? How do you feed kids? How do you do these things? So everybody thinks, oh, well, I don't have a college degree. No, you don't have to have a college degree to make money in America. All you have to have is the correct skill set. And we have so many people that, are veterans. They say that all these people are the left behind and all that. They don't have to be left behind. All they have to do is take this training and they'll be ahead of the game.
No, I agree, and I remember making $5 an hour before it started climbing. It was 5.15. I was happy when it went to 5.50.
Exactly.
Uh,
And you're right.
so if someone wanted to get into this field like this moment, this second, what do they need to do to start moving in this direction to say I'm going to have a career in fashion technology? What's my first step to move forward?
Well, I would say I would go to meetup.com, or I would go to some of the universities that the engineering programs,
Hmm.
the engineering programs, and talk to those professors. and see what classes they're teaching. Some of them are teaching mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, 3D technologies. More of the schools in the Netherlands and in London are really teaching what I'm talking about. Here in New York, you find very few schools that's teaching it. Parsons just recently had a few classes now in 3D print technology, and FIT also had one or two classes in 3D print technology, but they're at the very beginning stages of it. You
Mm-hmm.
might find some in Canada also, because in Canada too, there's quite a bit of wearable technology. But also, I would say I would try to get an internship with some of these technology companies.
That's some great advice. What's on Meetup? And so I thought that was just more like a social hangout for
Well,
people.
on Meetup, I used to have my Internet of Fashion for 4 years. I had Internet of Fashion once a month.
Okay,
You
so you
know,
have a group of Meetup.
some of my followers or haters, they might have something going on. Because I also have people that they'll go on my site, they'll look at everyone that I have on the site, they'll contact them to come speak at their event. I'm a part of Women of Wearables. So if you go to Women of Wearables, it's called WOW, WOW. You'll see all the women of wearables that create with some kind of technology, and any you could tap into any of those people and what they're doing. On LinkedIn, there's people that's working well now. Another thing, since they realize that working in fashion tech is not easy, it's not instant gratification, you have to put a lot of effort and time into it. Now they're all on the sustainable fashion, circular fashion. So you go on LinkedIn, you'll see groups for sustainable fashion. You'll see 3D print women. You'll see different groups.
Hmm.
So, you just go to these groups and, pick brains like they do.
Okay.
And then some of these companies, there are a lot of companies that's in artificial intelligence, some here in the United States, some in other parts of the world. But you can get a lot of information from those companies, and they'll let you know if they have anything. Like one guy from the Tuca Tech, he creates digital patterns in his company, and kind of 3D robotic type models in his company, and they're located in Los Angeles. So in USC and LA, you might find some classes. LA is always a little ahead of the game because they have Hollywood and they're all into 3D and being creative out there, where the fashion industry is always, I call the resistance. They like to resist change and newness. So slowly, 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 they're putting technology people on their team.
Hmm.
But I mean, really slowly. So, you know, if somebody's been doing something the same way for 50 years and it worked, and now they feel like they don't need to change it, but they have to change it in order to be competitive, because you see all the retailers going out of business. Why do you
Hmm.
think they're going out of business? Because people don't have people. We're now global society because of the internet. We're a global society. So we could go online and find what we're looking for anywhere in the world
No, that's
and buy it if we want, and they ship it to us. We don't have to. And this new generation, they're not loyal to brands. They're not loyal at all. They could care less. If you have what they want when they want it, that's it. And that doesn't mean they're going to come back and you're going to be their consumer. No, It's like, okay, they had that, then now move on to the next thing. So, and people are down the road, they're going to be able to print their whole outfit right at their house and wear it that night. And they won't need it, it's longer like a need, like we used to need to be led by Vogue and Seventh Avenue. It's no longer that need.
No, that's
So
so great, and it clearly opens up the space for, I think, innovation and to be on the forefront of some things that are about to come out. And so I think it's a great opportunity for young people to figure out, hey, this is where I can be a leader, because the space is
absolutely.
just starting to open up and it's just starting to make its way into the mainstream. So it's an opportunity to get those skills, that knowledge,
Yep,
and be the one that drives it moving forward.
totally. And innovation is what comes out of these groups of people. They don't know that when they get together that they're going to come out of something and create something amazing,
Hmm.
but it'll just happen. It just happens. I don't know. I think at also the University of Miami, they
Ooh.
have an engineering program there. That's a good place to start and a place to even introduce uh, fashion technology if it's not introduced there already.
Hmm.
Because they need, like here, the University of Delaware, just Dr. Martha Hall, she has a whole innovation lab within that university, and they're creating products for people with disabilities. So, and not necessarily tech, but just products that focus on people with those types of disabilities. Then at the University of Minnesota, there was another professor that had a lab and she was doing fashion tech, but none here in like Manhattan, none at all. And then when you try to talk to them about it, it's just like so many, like this one and that one and this, and you get a headache. It's like the bureaucracy is insane. It's like, this is too stressful. How many people I have to go through to get to yes?
Yeah, that's a little bit of life, but we persist in spite of. Um, we do. We have to. So, Miss James, just thank you so much. I know we were gonna go till 12, but I feel like this is a good place. Like my mind's
Well,
blown. I'm like thinking like maybe I should get in fashion technology. Um,
well, it's not still too late. See, it's
yeah,
no age on technology.
yeah,
That's the good news. There's
yeah.
no that you like in the mainstream fashion world, you walk in the door and you're not 25 anymore, and they're like, oh, she's old. Well, in technology, it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Uh,
about how old you are. It has no age on you at all. Now they are the crowd that's going to try to block you out and everything because that's just the hater crowd, and they're trying to block people out of the whole mission. But you have to always be innovative and dip and dodge. Like every year, I have to come up with something new and innovative for the event and make them fall over again and say, "Oh, how'd you think of that?" Because hey, yeah, I thought of it first again, that type of thing, and that's where you're stuck at. It's
yeah.
like I thought that once I got away from the mainstream fashion world and went over to this side, and at first it was all kumbaya, and then as things start progressing, they start rearing their ugly head again. The same little hater groups, you know. But you just gotta dip them and have something new every time you come out with something and keep it close to the vest and then pounce with it out because it's exhausting. It's exhausting, but the 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 industry itself in terms of going to the different conferences and meeting all these incredible companies that have the tech and developing those type of networks around the world is amazing. It's fantastic, it's exciting, it's fun, and it's like stars in your eyes every time you walk up on a new technology and they lay it out and tell you, well, this is what we're doing, and yeah, we want to partner and we want to be in your event and whatever. It's exciting. Now, you did ask about money. You asked about making money as a person working in the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you make money. As a person who's innovating and coming up with all this stuff, right away you're not making money. You're actually spending money because it costs you money to do all this stuff and to go all these places and try to figure out you know how you can get funding and grants and different things, and those things have never happened for me. I've even had people who were part of my team that was supposed to do grant writing told me they got a grant for $100,000, and come to find out the person was lying. And I to this day can't figure out why that person made up that lie, because it was like, well, it's not like I wasn't going to find out that it wasn't true. I mean, what was the point of that? It was crazy, crazy. And at that point, I had actually put myself out there for a big event. And so my butt was on the line for the monies for the event. So what happened, I was out long enough before the event that I could scale it back and maneuver and find another resource to have a venue and all of that in order to save myself from being in enormous amount of debt. So it's like, because in the beginning when you don't have funding and you're getting people to be on your advisory board and executive team and all that, and everybody's doing it just so they can be a part of it and hopefully get a piece of the action when there's money, you got to try to be sure of who you're putting there, because these people could cause you some serious damage. And I learned that too. So it's all a big learning process. But at the end of the day, as you said, we soldier on and we
Mm-hmm.
stay strong and we take the lesson for what it is, the lesson, and
Yeah.
keep it moving. And that's all you got to do. But I just want eyes wide open, you know, keep eyes wide open.
And I appreciate that. Sometimes, I mean, it's just life. You hit landfill or landmines, and then you learn a lesson, and it's helpful to know where they are to avoid them. But I just want to thank you for your time today. This is, like I said, so amazing. Got me thinking about what I can do. I know I want to be retooling myself in the technological space in the coming years, like you said, because that's where we're going, where I need to be ready to go. Not only as an employee, but as a, like you said, as a provider. So I'm a mom. Like, I get
Yeah,
that. People take care of.
yeah.
So thank you for enlightening us about so many different things. I took notes. See, I got my notes. Things for us to be aware of and where this field is going and to incite some passion. And so this is live on our Facebook. I'm going to go over there and check and see real quick if they had any questions. We had a few people stream there. Um, it's going to go up on our YouTube channel. So like, follow, subscribe, whatever the whole list of things you're supposed to do for
Well, make sure you send me
YWC.
those links.
I
And
will.
when I have everything ready for Fashion Tech Week 2021, I
Hmm.
will shoot it out to you guys and you put
Yay!
it on your page for me and join in.
Yes, I'd love to. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so exciting. So thank you again, and thank you all for joining us. And have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.